it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hi villains and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast this morning on what we hope will be an absolutely superb day for Aston Villa Football Club, where we may, and I say may, we may be at some stage top of the league today. If we were to take the lead before Arsenal, anything happens in the Arsenal and Brighton game, it would pop us up to the top of the table, and that would just be nice to be able to look at and to revel in today. But also if results went in our favour today and we were to win today, we could be top of the league anyway afterwards. But I highly doubt that will be the case. And I know I'm being facetious and overlooking Brentford, and that's not something we should ever do. But Aston Villa versus Brentford is a game I'm really, really, really looking forward to. Paddy, how are you doing?
I'm good. Got my lucky jersey on, and I see that they're wearing that today, judging by the graphic that's been put out. So I'm feeling really, really good about it. We've got a huge, huge opportunity here to cement ourselves in that top four, and I'm hoping that we go and take it with both hands, specifically because we failed there so many times over the last 6 years since we started playing them in the championship. So great opportunity. Let's hope that we can go and get the 3 points.
Joystick Media says 1 minute late. Who is this? Dan Bardell? Well, if being 1 minute late gets us to the media levels of Dan Bardell, well, then we'll be 2 minutes late in future because we get there quicker. And Gaz Oak says, loving the neon sign. Yeah, this may or may not have been one of the reasons why I was slightly late. It's a bit out of focus at the moment, but a nice little present from one of my family members there, a neon sign for the podcast, which I think is pretty cool, albeit. Yeah, it's going to. I have to build everything else around it for my new background. So maybe I'll do that with the match on here as well. If the game is anything like the game was on Thursday night, I'll start drilling holes in the wall and hanging jerseys and stuff like that. We'll see.
I wouldn't put money on it being like Thursday night now. That's for sure.
I don't think so.
There's a lot more at stake, so I would imagine this is going to be a lot more hell for leather than Thursday night was for sure.
I think so too. I think it will be. I think there'll be an awful lot more to play for, essentially, within this game. As I said there, the carrot for Aston Villa today is massive. A 4-point gap to Man City. Who the hell for the next 10 years would have thought that there would be a 4-point gap with Aston Villa being above Man City by 4 points? And that's a massive carrot in itself, because with Sheffield United to come, with Manchester United and with Burnley left to come, arguably, and I know I'm getting ahead of myself, and I think I've missed out a team in the middle. I know I'm getting ahead of myself. No, I haven't. But I know I'm getting ahead of myself. But that could be 12 points over Christmas. And I know we're always optimistic here in this podcast, but we always say it's nice to be optimistic, especially when we're playing well. We are balanced as well at the same time. We fully are aware that Brentford away has been a huge stumbling block for us since we started playing them in the championship even. But the way that the cards have fallen today with regards to, it looks like our injuries are in a better place than their injuries, considering the people that we had with Knox, and Aston Villa coming here on the crest of a wave. It'll be a case of if we can break them down, I think, today, and obviously not concede goals early, because when we concede goals early, we're not the best at rallying back. But it's absolutely fantastic, and I'm so looking forward to this. I must excuse myself for 2 minutes, and I hate to do this to you, Paddy, when you don't have full access to it and we don't know what's going on there. We're trying to get him sorted out, but I do have to run for 2 minutes, and I will be back hopefully before the teams are announced. So, sorry, Paddy. Gotta run.
He's an awful man for leaving me at this. We tried in vain to get me set up before we kicked off here today. So I can't put your I can see your comments, but I can't get them on screen. But somebody there was Charlie. He was asking about my third strip. You know what, guys? When I saw this coming out in the visuals, I thought that's an awful strip, but it's so comfortable. It's the nicest feeling strip I think I've ever had. It's now my lucky short that I got me. That's right. It's peeling off, but hopefully we don't peel away today and we can go and get the 3 points on the board. Because it really is a huge 3 points. As Michael Michael Huggins is saying in the comments there, this is a huge game. We've got 3 cup finals, I think, between here and the end of the year. To go into a transfer window with us in the top 4, I think this will be a huge appeal to whoever we're hoping to bring to the club in the transfer window. And look, we're not counting any chickens. We could very easily lose this today. We all know that. Oh, he's back.
I'm back. That was a lot easier than I thought. There was a potential civil unrest inside my house with a 2-year-old child who wouldn't go for a nap. And I was getting beckoned from indoors. I see that there was lots of speculation that I may have had to take an unenforced toilet break. But no, those rumours were wide of the mark. Were wide of the mark indeed.
The joys of having young children.
Absolutely. I wouldn't change it though. I wouldn't change it. We've had a great morning this morning. And we had a great day yesterday as well. So I'm out of breath.
I woke the kids up from their usual slumber till about 1 o'clock in the day today to bring them to a GA club Christmas morning, and had the Christmas jumpers on and everything. And the biggest argument I had was when my daughter came home and asked me, "Can I put on my pajamas now? Are we done for the day?" So that's all ahead of you, Neil. That's all ahead of you.
I know. Well, that's fine. You know what? Actually, I will be always saying yes to that. Yeah, 100%. If that means I don't have to drive you anywhere, perfect. 100%. Be my guest. But anyway, that's not going to get Villa over the line today. Talking about our domestic situations. But what I think from this game as well today, Paddy, is that obviously I mentioned there that people have travelled. Leon Bailey has travelled. Yuri Tielemans has travelled, it seems, unless I've read that wrong and incorrectly. So realistically, we aren't missing anyone other than the 3 aforementioned, or the 3 guys that we are missing.
The 2 suspended and the 2 long-term.
Yeah, the 2 long-term and the 2 suspended, yeah. And we can't afford to be missing any. So I'm fully expecting Matty Cash on the right-hand side today. I woke up this morning with that just burnt into my mind this morning, and I'm expecting the Matty Cash in the right midfield situation today. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I could completely understand why it would be used today. If Bailey is carrying a knock, we do our thing where we bring him off the bench in away games, because let's remember, I know he scored away from home recently, but home form Bailey is like Rolls Royce at the minute. And if he's carrying a knock, let's bring him on to stretch defences again. They will be weak at left back. They should be weak at left back, should I say, even if they go at 5, because they're missing Rico Henry and they're missing Aaron Hickey as well. So there's lots and lots and lots of permutations in this today, and I think the Villa have the answers to it based on who they have available and who Villa have available. It's really just a case of Villa playing to their potential here today and not having one of those games that we did against Forest, that we did against Bournemouth in the first half, and that we did against Wolves as well, because we do throw a Rick in there every so often, albeit 90% of our performances this season have been absolutely stellar.
And in fairness, we've been great after the European trips. I think we've got a really good record after playing in Europe on the Thursday night. So I remember listening to Matty Cash recently say that he actually loved having that extra game, and it really set them up for the weekend, and that can have that effect on players and especially individuals that like it that way. So those that like myself, who didn't like training too much, who loved the midweek games, so the training would be less. So those guys would prefer to be doing their training, and we have a team out, Neil.
We have a team out. I was feverishly clicking away here, clicking on the screen, just to try and bring this up here. So we do have a team out. Starting 11 is there. There's that beautiful man. Looks absolutely amazing, really, because he's this absolute head off me. We have Emi Martinez in goal, Ezri Konsa, Diego Carlos, Pau Torres, and Alex Moreno. The aforementioned Matty Cash, Kamara McGinn, and Jacob Ramsey, Diaby, and Watkins. Exactly the team that I thought we would play today, and I think the correct team to play today. It's unfair on somebody like that, Zaniolo, after getting his goal during the week, and Bailey makes the bench. There is no Tielemans in the squad. Are we all digging to see? I don't know who Proctor is that's on the bench. So the bench is Philip Marshall, Proctor the Doctor, Callum Chambers, Longley, Zaniolo, Duran, Bailey, then Donker, and young Tim Irogbunum. So I have no...
Is Proctor a goalkeeper?
I presume he is, considering that... is it Michael Proctor, or is there a famous person called Proctor? Let's see. Sam Proctor is his name. He's only 16 and he is a goalkeeper. He's born in Boston in December 2006. And Sam Proctor, welcome to the show. He's won England under 18 cap and he's only 16 years of age. I will be honest with you, I've never ever, and it's okay to say this, I've never heard of this guy ever before in my life. And that's okay. He's played 6 games this season for the under 20 for the under 18s and once in the Premier League too. And he signed from Peterborough in 2021 season. He signed from the Peterborough youth team for 120 grand. So if he's only 16 now and he signed in the 2021 season, that's 2 years ago, as a 14-year-old for 120 grand? Can you sign 14-year-olds for 120 grand?
Well, obviously you can, or Wikipedia is letting you down there.
It's not Wikipedia, it's Transfer Market. Transfer Market is where I'm getting that information from. His agent is unknown. Yeah, I was just about to say who's his agent, but of course he's under 18, so it won't give his agent status. He's not even on a he's still on a YTS or whatever they're called now. Like he's not even on a professional contract yet. So at 16 years of age. But look, great. As I say, I'm happy. We're back to the lucky omen of two goalkeepers on the bench. Take that.
Look, we're a little bit stretched. That's fine. If Tielemans isn't fully fit, I'm glad he's not on the bench. I'm glad we're not taking risks. We have a busy period coming up where we're going to play 3 games in what? Well, it's not as busy as usual because they've taken out one of the games, haven't they? So we play 3 games in 2 weeks. Plus a little bit of an extra break that we're playing on the Friday night as opposed to Saturday. So if it means we have to play McGinn in that less advanced position, so be it. I just hope that we have enough there to go and put this to bed, and I mean that in the most respectful way. Look at that team. Look at the team that we're putting out there. It's a 3 at the back essentially, converting to a 5 when we don't have the ball. I just can't see how they're going to pick us off. Yes, they might score a goal, but we're going to score 1 more, I would imagine, today, or 2 more, or whatever the case may be. I fully expect us to go and win the game today.
Yeah, me too. As I say, I'm really, really enthused by that team because we're making the best use of the players we have available. And it's not that we haven't done that before, but as I said, our situation of players being out is a lot less than theirs. And there isn't massive upheaval to the team with the players we've brought in because they're all used to playing in those positions. And arguably Alex Moreno would have been, only for injury, would have been playing that left back position over Luca Dean, and Luca Dean would probably be in Saudi Arabia at this moment in time, which was a blessing for us considering that he's played so well for us this season. So from that point of view, it's I'm not too worried about the changes that we've made today at all. I'm just trying to bring up the Brentford team here as well. But Jacob Ramsey has a big role today, Paddy. I think that carrying of the ball on that left-hand side, while also protecting Alex Moreno. Like both our left-hand side are coming back from injury. That's probably the only kind of twist in the road I see here is just the fitness levels of the two of those guys, and not having Luca Dean to bring on. Potentially we see maybe Clement Longley come in and Pau Torres get moved to left back later on in the game. Maybe we see I would imagine Zaniolo might come on. They might move McGinn over to that left-hand side at some stage if needs be. Also, you've got Bailey as well. Maybe he comes in for Diaby. Or maybe, what I'm getting at here is maybe we see a young Tim in his QPR role, who is a bit more of a wider player, and a wide in the midfield 4 as well under Michael Beale. Maybe we see something like that as well. It's exciting. It's exciting, as I say, and I'm looking forward to it for sure.
But look, I hope that we boss the game and give us the opportunity to go and try a couple of these things. We know that young Tim's natural position is probably in a 6 role, with a 6.5, we'll call him, for driving on with the ball. So to get the opportunity to maybe move McGinn into Cash's role and put him in there at some stage of the game would be great. And look, amazing that young lad at 16 years of age, been on the bench. Fair play to Unai Emery for giving that guy the day out that he probably deserved, otherwise he wouldn't be there. And it's no harm to show these young guys what it's like to have the opportunity that he's getting today and what happens on match day, and it's just all part of the learning process. So rather than leave the bench empty, I'd much prefer to see us doing that.
Yeah, and the Brentford team is as follows: Flecken in goals, right back Rorslev, Zanka, Pinnock and me. So he's going with his five at the back, and then Sammy Godasten on the left hand side, Christian Norgard, Vitaly Janled, and Mikkel Damsgaard in the middle of midfield. That's a formidable midfield, albeit all names that show the brilliance of Brentford scouting, and I'll get back to that in a minute. And then it looks like Lewis Potter playing off of Vissa up front with Strakosha, Good, Maupe, Onyeka, Collins. Nathan Collins makes the bench. Pert, Harris, Baptiste, Yarmoliuk, and Olak Higby on the bench. Now, I mentioned there about Brentford's scouting in that midfield specifically, and I suppose actually, a lot of the back four as well that's there. Brentford were Brighton before Brighton were Brighton. Like, everybody was raving about Brentford's recruitment policy. And that's a pretty young team. There's nobody, bar Ben Mee, who's 33 or 4, I think. Bar nobody in that team. Flecken is 30. Everybody else is, Zanka is actually a small, wait a minute. Bar the defence, okay, and the goalkeeper. Everybody else seems to be a pretty decent age, within that team and within that squad. Like, we forget that Neil Maupe is only 27, 28 as well. And he's been playing with them for ages. Brian Mbeumo, obviously not here today. He's only 22, 23 years of age. He's been playing with them for donkey's years as well. So their recruitment has been really good. And I think that is absolutely 100% shown in that midfield three that they have there with Norgard, Janlet, and Damsgaard in there, because they're three really, really good midfielders, industrious midfielders. And that's where I think the game is going to be won and lost for us today, because we're going to have to go narrow, but also going to have to get wide at times to stop their five in midfield. And that's what Thomas Frank does. And he's made no bones about it, because when he was on the Monday Night Football show, he more or less told the whole world what his formation was and why he does it.
Neil, you see that Zanka?
Yes.
Is that his nickname?
Yes. Yeah.
Jorgensen, is it?
Yes, exactly. Martin Jorgensen. Yeah. Danish centre half.
Matthias Jorgensen. Yeah.
Matthias. He's himself and Joris Okore were absolutely wonder kids together at Copenhagen, if I'm not mistaken, at one stage. Or they were wonder kids in the Danish league coming up together at the same time. Yeah.
Fair enough. I was just a bit confused. I was trying to find him there frantically. Maybe he wears Zanka on his jersey, does he?
He does, yeah. He does.
Yeah, look, I think like Janelt, Norgard, and Damsgaard have given us problems in the past. I think if we can keep them quiet and stop the ball coming through the middle through Wissa and Lewis Potter, who I don't know enough about to comment on, but Wissa is definitely the danger man here. They've obviously got Neil Maupe, who hasn't been on a great run. He's really missing a goal, and he likes to play against us, because I think ever since that forced Dean Smith window where he tried to sign him, I think he's a little bit bitter that he didn't get that move to us. So he's always really turned up on the day against us, which I was surprised not to see him in the squad or in the team if he's capable of making the squad. There could be a little bit of padding there on the bench. As far as I'm aware, Nathan Collins is not fit enough to be on the bench.
Me too.
I think it's a case of needs must for them. So yeah, look, there's a lot of teams really struggling. I think these new rules of dishing out yellow cards for silly stuff has left people in this position. So where they've picked up injuries, they've also picked up suspensions alongside them now at this time of year as we head towards the magical, is it 19 where these reset?
Yeah, after the mid point of the league.
Yeah. So we're still 3 games away from that, but if you take today out, there's 2 more. So we've had obviously our suspensions. People are seeing them racking up. We've seen Newcastle do it. We've seen Spurs do it. Man United, Man City. So it's one of those things that has just contributed to what has the potential to be a really special Premier League run in the second half of the year. And let's hope. I'd really hope to see that everybody in the top 5, 6, or 7 still make it this way, that we'll have a proper championship run in, not knowing who's going to win it until the last few weeks, because it's been a bit of a procession over the years with Manchester City, and it doesn't do the league any good that people are really cheering. I know it's great for us to get into the Champions League, but like the likes of Liverpool and Arsenal and those cheering getting into the Champions League when they should be in there every year is a different story. But look, here we are, the big game today. It's going to be tough. I've talked myself into 2-1. I was thinking 2-0 all morning. Haven't seen the team. I'm going a 2-1 Villa win today.
David Dwyer says YTS. Jesus, he gave me flashback. I don't even know what it's called now. I just know it was YTS back in the day.
I think it still is YTS. I think it still is.
Yeah, but put it this way: it's not whatever. It's not 60 quid a week like it used to be before, or whatever it is.
Well, I don't. Well, it's not far off it. There are limits, and
too many of them washing boots either, Paddy.
I'll tell you what. It's not. It's not young lads cleaning boots and sweeping stadiums anymore. So that unfortunately is the grounding that these guys are missing out on, because that was an important learning process for people back in the day that kept them on their toes. And unfortunately, child labour is. Or unfortunately, in this case, look, they can spend more time with their coaching and they get extra training as opposed to spending their mornings cleaning dressing rooms and boots and stadiums and polishing the brass handles in the boardroom and cups and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's not an awful lot of money, but in the old days, it used to keep them fairly grounded. Those days are gone. It's now a case of they're rocking up in their new cars as soon as they get their driving license.
Yeah. And just in case there is anybody from any of the authorities listening out, that was a Freudian slip from Paddy. We do not condone child labour. It was fortunately in this instance that they don't do that anymore. Fortunately, in every instance. No, I just had a Freudian slip. Damn, we're going to be cancelled. Let's get to a couple of comments quickly. I don't mind if you guys slander yourselves, but we can't be slandering ourselves anyway here on this one for sure. Where else are we? Let's see. John Griffin is delighted to see JJ back, quality player, which makes getting into the 11 even harder. Sam Barton Humphreys, thank you so much for the super sticker. And Jason Rigby, thank you so much. Long-time listener, first time able to get on live. Keep up the Lord's work, gents. Love all the shows you do up the Villa. Thank you so much, Jason. Really appreciate that. And Sewer Sound says as well, points for Paddy and Neil on my birthday. It should be us that's giving you a present on your birthday, Sewer Sounds. But hopefully Aston Villa give you a present of a win today. And thank you so much, and happy birthday to you as well. Actually, give me 2 seconds. There's somebody. So you guys might remember I said a while ago, a couple of weeks ago, we got banned for something. Like, I don't know what it is. We got banned from Facebook. We got banned from Instagram. And we only just got back on yesterday. And I have no idea what we got banned for. It was for a team sheet tantrum for West Ham. The West Ham team sheet tantrum. And I've watched it back about 10 times. And I have no idea. And there's no way to question it. There's no way to ask them to please re-review it again. And they don't tell you why you were banned. But essentially, they banned us for, however, that was at the 30th of November. And we got a 6-week ban, which brought us up to yesterday for whatever reason. But during that time, loads of people have been messaging our Instagram account. Now, I'm not very active on Instagram, as I said before, but I wanted to get to one or two of the guys, and I wanted to, where are we? So I wanted to get to one here for Rob James. Rob James sent us in a message to say he was a huge fan of the show, and his son was born on the 16th of September. That'll tell you how long ago this message is sitting there for, and I didn't see it. And he asked me would I give a shout out for his son, George. So, George, and Rob, thanks a million for watching in. And you've got the young lad on a massive the positive trajectory. He doesn't know anything other than winning at the moment, that young man, and long may it continue as well. But I said I would. I said I'd give you a shout out on the podcast as well. So we've got a couple of other comments there as well. I'm just scrolling down through here too. And Warren Brooks says, "What a surprise! Cash plays when I bench him. I'm fuming. I went to bench him yesterday, and then I went, oh, I think he's going to play, and I don't think Bailey's going to play. So I have, but I didn't take Bailey out of my team, so I have Cash and Diaby on my bench. So I'm kind of half hoping Bailey doesn't come on because, yeah, it'll be an interesting one if that does happen." Where else are we? Alex Roberts staying on the Cash the Cash trajectory here. Big afternoon for Matty Cash, I feel. He's got to be able to receive the ball, but he's back to an opponent like McGinn does so well out on the touchline. I think that's a good call, Alex. But I suppose in Matty Cash's defence, he has been playing in defence for, like realistically speaking, the last 4 or 5 years of his career, and it's always going to be a learning curve about how much time you have. So he's always been facing the ball realistically when he's received it, or he's been running onto a pass that's come out wide to him. So I think it's going to take time for that to come. But you're right. If and when he starts to do that and link the play with his back turn to goal, he could really become a good asset for us in midfield. And players that are moldable and not moldable, but players that are versatile, that are what Unai Emery wants. And you make a really good point there, because I think that is a part of his game that he does need. That and driving into the box with the ball at his feet, he needs to be a bit better at. I'm saying that about him for the last 4 years. I'm waiting for him. He's had ample opportunities to win penalties, and he's too honest, and he never drives at the defender to try and win a penalty. That's just a tiny little mere criticism of him. But everything apart from that, I think he's been really good at.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's not a case of him not being used to taking the ball with his facing the opposition's goal. It's all about the movement off the ball, when he can hold the ball up and give it to somebody and make the run that goes after that. You can drill into him. So I wouldn't be too harsh on him. And look, he's played in midfield for Forest a number of times as well, so he's well used to playing different positions. And look, he's still there. He's I spoke on the preview about Unai Emery absolutely losing his shit out of him on Thursday night. So he's still there, and it's up to him now to keep himself in that position, because, like we've spoke about it many times, there's no doubt that it will bring in probably another right back, so they can do the rotation that we do at left back. And the full backs are an important part of the game now in the attacking sense. So wouldn't it be great that the additional attacker doesn't have to always come down the left, that we don't always have to get the ball wide to Luca Dean to put the ball in the box when it's him, or give the ball to Alex Moreno to make that run into the box to get the ball across, or pull it back. So we could do with another player down the right to do that exact job. And I imagine the pressure is on Matty Cash, and he's been a great servant. We can't let that be forgotten either.
Yeah, and really random reviews asks, wasn't Cash on the wing for Forest? He went in defence as emergency, I think, and did so well. It stuck. He kind of alternated between a kind of a wide right midfielder. He played a small bit in central midfield, and then he went back to right back. He scored against us, I'm almost certain, from a wide right midfield position in the championship.
I thought it was a centre midfield when he scored against us.
Maybe it was.
That's what's in my brain from that day. Anyway, I think I was at that match.
There you go. There you go. So, and as I say, I think he's going. Like, I had him down to start today. I think this is a game for him away from home. And as I say, I think I might put a cheeky €5 bet on him to score today, because he might maybe it's teams away from home with the letter B as the starting letter in their name, that he just has massive games from midfield against, because he was great against Burnley too as well. So maybe Brentford is it there? Oh, look at that. Vinny, congratulations on the young fella as well, and having a young fella, or your missus having a young fella, should I say, called Kuhn. Brilliant stuff. I put in a suggestion. So Vinny had something up on Twitter as well about naming his little boy that he's that they had just there a couple of weeks ago, got the present of an Aston Villa teddy bear, and Vinny put up on Twitter asking what should we name it, and I suggested Debu, and Vinny's chosen that name, so excellent. So Debu Bear is there, and who has the fresh nappy, yourself or Q and Vinny? Because actually, don't DM me that information. It's too public a forum for that one. But thanks, really great that you're getting to watch in on it, and hopefully the night feeds are going well for you on that one. Paddy, is it fair to say that, I suppose, like Ollie Watkins, obviously against Arsenal and against Manchester City, worked like an absolute hero in both of those games, but didn't get much of the ball. We all know that Ollie Watkins is a streaky player, and as I say, there's his jersey here behind me. I'm the conductor of the Watkins fan bus, always have been. But I've got a funny feeling that today could be one of the days he gets his streak back on the road again, playing against a former team, a team whereby he's absolutely loved. Himself and Konza, may I add, who's just there as well, behind me, playing against a former team. I'm thinking this one is going to be made for Ollie Watkins, playing against a Ben Mee who isn't really great at turning, but is just always found a way to play in the Premier League, and playing against an older player like Zanka as well. Pinnock won't want anybody anywhere near him because he's the ball distributor within that back three. I just have a good feeling about Ollie Watkins today, Paddy. What do you think?
Look, I think he's lost. You called him streaky there, and I'm glad it was you and not me. I think he's lost that streakiness. I think there's just going to be games where he's not going to be as effective due to the defensive formation of the opposition. And I think that's what's happened to him in recent times. He's absolutely been a workhorse when he's been nullified in that situation. So he's a completely different player than what we've been dealing with in the past. I, for one, would love to see him score today. I think it would be an unusual one for him, where going to a place where he's loved it and getting a goal. Yes, I would love to see him score. But I think the most important thing is that he contributes as much as he possibly can, and if he's not on the score sheet, that somebody else is, and we go and win the game.
Yeah, I think that's a fair synopsis of it as well. And he will contribute today. He always does. Like, as I say, his work rate can never, ever, ever be questioned. He's just really honest. And even when he went through those patches, I suppose the reason I call him, I say streaky, is that, you know, he has gone through patches where he hasn't scored a lot, predominantly after when children are born. But he's kind of knocked that in the head now, and he's scoring goals at a decent clip. He's still up there in the top scoring charts, or the top goal contribution charts within the Premier League. And I think today is when he gets back up in the horse and gets a goal. I just have a good feeling about him today. And the reason I say that is because I'm going to make a prediction now. And if you guys want to start popping in your score predictions into the chat, we're going to do our roundup. I'm going to put in a prediction today. As I say, I think Aston Villa will come out. I think the carrot will be dangled in front of them. I really want them to have the bit between their teeth. I can't imagine John McGinn sitting inside in that dressing room going, lads, we need to keep it safe, we need to keep it tight, we need to keep whatever. I think that today is going to be an offensive in the first 15 minutes, and I think that Aston Villa will try and score early, obviously without being detrimental to conceding at the back, because I think this carrot of going top for a period of time is such a good mental boost for this team, because there's been a lot said about the team running out of steam, or, oh, this is as high as they can get. Oh, they've had a great start to the season, but the wheels are going to fall off. Like this Christmas period could be the making of this team. As I said, Paddy, you know, some of the games coming up, we play more games over this Christmas period than the other teams that are there. Some of those teams, I think it's Liverpool, have to play. Actually, I have a screenshot of it here. If you'll just indulge me a moment while I check, because I meant to send it on to you this morning. So I took a screenshot of some of the teams the other guys have to play. Liverpool still have to play United today. As I say, I don't expect them to drop points there. But then they've got West Ham and they've got Arsenal. And they've got Arsenal, Burnley, and then Newcastle first game in the new season. So they've got Arsenal and Burnley 3 days apart, and they also have a League Cup fixture against West Ham in the middle there. So over the course of 11 days, they've won 2, 3. They've 4 games in 11 days. Liverpool have there. So there is a possibility they don't go unbeaten in that period of time. There's a high possibility of that. Then when you look at Arsenal as well, Arsenal have Brighton, they have Liverpool, they have West Ham, and they have Fulham. And that's all in a 14-day period. And without getting ahead of myself, I know we've got difficult games. We've got Sheffield United next, we've got Man United, and then we've got Burnley. But get over the hump today. And that's what I'm saying, is that carrot stays in front of you, because lose today and I think that carrot gets kind of taken away, that you could potentially be top of the league at the turn of the year. And Paddy, there's pinch yourself moments and there's fucking pinch yourself moments, but that's a fucking pinch yourself moment, I think is what I would say. And it's plausible, and none of that is claret and blue tinted glasses. It's plausible that something like that could happen. Albeit, you need to get over today first. You absolutely need to get over today first, and then take each game as it comes from there on in.
But look, let us score early today. Let us take our screenshots of us top of the league, and then let's concentrate on just staying in that top
100%.
Keeping ourselves within touch and distance. We're also, if we win today, we go 4 points clear of Manchester City, who don't play next weekend, and their fixtures are going to start mounting up as they go away to the World Club Championships. So there's a huge opportunity to just get into the January transfer window. As I said when you were off here, staying within the top 4, putting a bit of daylight between us and the teams below, and really giving ourselves every opportunity of getting into the Champions League. I'm not counting any chickens.
No.
Like at the moment, I do believe we're a little bit light to be able to do that. That's not to say that we won't do enough in the transfer window to change that. It's just if we pick any more injuries up, I think we're going to be hamstrung in that department, and it's going to cost us. But for now, enjoy it, embrace it, because we have been through so many fucking shit seasons. Even the last 4 seasons of doing this podcast have been a tough slog of worrying about staying up and then getting into Europe. And look, we should be pinching ourselves to where we are today, and we owe it all down to one man. And let's just get behind the team and enjoy it, and not be slagging off everyone else around us, because it does come back and bite you on the arse. But for now, we just got to aim at the job in hand. There's a good possibility that we could get 9 or 12 points out of the next 4 games. So if we did that, we would be absolutely enormous in the grand scheme of the season.
And that's, yeah, and I went on a massive piece there about saying I was going to tell you what my prediction was, and I never did. I'm going to go with a 2-0 today. I'm going to go with a 2-0 today. I'm feeling today. I think if we keep a clean sheet, we'll score 2 goals. I think we're going to score 2 goals anyway today, regardless. But I just like the setup of our team today, and I like the setup of our team in the face of the players that we're missing. So could fully okay with falling flat in my face in this one. But as I say, we come to the team sheet tantrum. We've mentioned where, like, I went on a big long soliloquy at the start. Brentford's midfield is where we need to win. The game will be won and lost if we can bypass that midfield and what will be that mid block. Absolutely, getting Watkins in and around the likes of Pinnock, who may not want to have a Watkins type character on him, and then he's got 2 older defenders who are very good defenders. Don't get me wrong, but they're older defenders. And Ollie Watkins' work rate has broken down the best of them in the Premier League so far. So that's where I'm thinking that this game can be won and lost today. So I'm going with 2-0. And on that, Dave Bond is going with a 3-1 Villa. Remote Property Flipper is going with 2-0. Irish Villain, look at that. Look at your avatar, Irish Villain, at our live podcast. I love it. Is that at the live podcast? Yeah, it is. 3-0 yeah. Irish Villain. Junior Bennett is going for 3-0. Really Random Reviews going 3-1. Jordy Villain going with 2-0. Raphael is going with 2-1. Michael O'Brien is going with 3-0 with Watkins, Diaby and Ramsey. Audrey's going for a 2-0 as well. Mick Ducati is going for a 2-0. Mr. Sensible going with a 1-0. Shane Marin going with, it'll be tough, but I think we'll edge it 2-1. Michael Huggins is going with 1-0 to the Villa. Michael Richards is going with 2-1 to the Villa. 3-1 says Dick Gobacco. Aston the Villa fan says with 3-0 with an Emmy clean sheet. Mike Brosnan saying 1-1. He takes it. David Dwyer is going with 2-0. Liam Jones is going with 2-1. Colin Mooney's going with 1-1. 1-1 says Connor, and Steve Barry says 3-0. Ansel Burrell is 20 quid on Watkins to win 2-0. Colin Sloan says 2-1, and Ryan C says 2-0. Patrick says 2-2. Daniel Hobson's going with a 1-1. English with Richard Parks is going for Villa to break a 76-year hoodoo and win. Is it a 70? Oh yeah, it would be 76 years, I suppose, since we've won there, because we didn't play them for donkey's years period of time, and then the championship they just had our numbers. So yeah, it could be 76 years. Gavin Donnelly going with 2-1. 2-0 says Savas Villy. KK is going with 3-1. 2-2 says Kieran O'Callaghan. John Griffin says 3-1. One game. Oh yeah, one game at a time. I thought you were saying 1-0. One game at a time. I 100% agree. But as I say, I'm talking about the carrot in this game. To win this particular game is, the fact that we could continue to inch closer towards our goals. That was my thought process with regards to that. Where else are we? Nick Hayes says 3-0. Where else are we? 4-1 says Phelan. Ansel again in there. John says 2-1. James Carr says 3-1. Jordan Levy says 2-0. Anna Grady says 3-0. Adam Phillips says 3-1. Johnny Boy says 4-1. Padgers Mashup says 1-1. Sean M says 2-1. Hot Tech Hillis says 3-1. Mike Kane says 1-0. Paul Miller says 1-0 to the Villa. Dan Booty says 3-1. David Ham says 6-0. Simon Kenny's going with 3-1. 2-0 says Noel Connaughton straight out after a wedding today, or yesterday, should I say, and he's still going with the 2-0. The Villa player says 2-0. Western Wood is saying 3-1, 2-0, or 2-1. Okay. So yeah, there's a hedging of bets there. Dave Bond says 3-1. Edward Healy says 1-0. Standing on the word says 2-1. Daniel Donnelly says 2-1. Stephen Wright says 4-1. Osgerm says 2-1. John Donovan says 2-0. Darren O says 2-1. And Greg O'Connor says 1-0 to Brentford. We'll finish off on that one to give a bit of balance, as they like to say, because a lot of the messages that we have had there, and obviously, look, Aston Villa coming on a great run of form, going to a place that is difficult, a place where Brentford have won 3, drawn 1, and lost 2 this season. At the old, I was going to say Griffin Park, but it's not Griffin Park anymore. At the GTEC Stadium there in Brentford, but it's Dave Bond says if Moreno's tired, bring on Neil. Nobody will know. Exactly. We're essentially the same person as everybody knows. Myself and Alex Moreno. And for any of you that are new to the podcast, that's a joke. That's a joke that's been ongoing for over a year now. Since just under a year since Alex Moreno signed. But yeah, I think we're right to be excited about this game. You know, as I say, we always come into games with a hint of optimism. That's why we're predicting the scores that we've predicted, fully in the knowledge that Aston Villa can Aston Villa at any given time. But today, I think is going to be an exciting game, and you can't underestimate that carrot, because I think this team are built up from a mental strength point of view like we've never seen in Aston Villa in recent times before, and that's what really gives me the optimism for a game like this today. That a lot of these players would never have thought in their wildest dreams that they could have been where they are with Aston Villa, given our first year back in the Premier League. And a lot of the players that are playing here today, a lot of the core group up the middle, were in that team maybe the first 2 years we were in the Premier League, and also here under Steven Gerrard. So I think the turnaround at the right time with the right manager and the right mental framework has this team kind of thinking and enjoying where they are at the moment. So long may it continue. Paddy, any final words before we wrap this one in a bow and go and get ready to watch it?
No, everybody go and get yourself comfortable. I'm going to get my soup into me before it kicks off.
Yeah.
Heat up the bones. And looking forward to this one. Looking forward to the next few games. And excited, I suppose, is the word today. And I hope to God that we can overturn these guys today and get the 3 points.
Exactly. Yeah. We hope to McGrath that we get those 3 points today, and that we can continue. Like, as I say, 4-point buffer zone we get after with Man City. There's a carrot in itself. Never mind going top of the league at any stage today.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And thanks very much, everybody, for watching and listening. I'm going to leave it at that because I'm getting excited, and when I get excited, I don't shut up. So I do need to put a pause button on myself. But we will be back directly after this game with the post-match podcast. You won't even have to do anything if you stay here with this. Dale on AVFC Stato, he's back this week. He's going to be doing his live watch-along from his parents' place in Wales. As he said himself, what could go wrong? So we're going to throw you directly over to that after this, so you don't need to go anywhere if that is if you do partake in the watch-alongs, and you should do, because Dale is the man. And then also Dale will fire you straight back into this live podcast stream after the final whistle as well. And come hell or high water, we will be back regardless of the results to chat through that game at roughly about 5 to 4 later on this evening. So everybody, mind yourselves, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you later, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.
Oh no, what's happened here? Wait a minute, I'm moaning this one because I don't know what's happened. Up the Villa again.